We're going to let the dice decide how we're going to shoot a portrait day with my model Rose here. It's going to be great. We're going to let the dice decide and see how it goes. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris Grande. I am a wedding and senior portrait photographer based here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we are starting a new series today based on a TikTok channel that we follow called Adventures in Area that has done something called Roll for Sandwich, where he lets D&D dice decide what he's going to eat that day. And then from that, we found Roll for Puppet, we found Roll for Pizza, and because of that, now we decided how can we roll into that? We love his video so much, so we decided we're going to start Roll for Portrait. We're going to let the dice decide how we're going to shoot a portrait day with my model Rose here. It's going to be great. We're going to let the dice decide and see how it goes.
So for our very first episode, our model Rose actually brought her own dice. Thank you for that, Rose. First up, we're going to choose lighting, so we're going to roll a d6 for this. And for our very first roll, for our very first episode, we pulled a 1, which means we are going to be using natural lighting for this. Next up, we're going to choose our lens, so we're going to roll a d4 for that one. Oh, and interesting, we got a 3, which means we're going to be using the Tamron 90mm macro lens. Next up is background. We're going to roll a d20 for this. In that roll, we got an 11, which means we're going to be using a background called Bayside. That's a Fleece background from backgroundtown.com. Hit it with some wild magic. This is going to let us choose our props. So for this, we rolled a 6. That means we're going to have to add a stool to our portrait. That could get interesting. So Brandy's going to help me hang our background, which again is the Bayside background from Background Town. It's a fleece background, which is a great choice for fabric for your backgrounds because fleece absorbs light. So the light that's coming from the windows behind our background stand, or if you're using a strobe or something like that, and you get a lot of reflection from your light source on your background, the fleece is going to absorb that extra light, so it's going to keep your tones, your colors of your background, which is definitely what you want if you're going to use a background in your photo shoots. For lens, I have a 90mm macro. You wouldn't normally think to use this for portraits, but it eliminates the minimum focus distance you have with an 85. Alright, so it's time to shoot. I got Rose here on the stool. I'm posing her. Watch me use my hand to sort of tell her where to put her face rather than saying move left, move right. I got her on the stool, got her close to the window because I'm shooting natural light and I don't have any V-flats or reflectors or anything, so I really want to get her as close to that window as possible. I started first shooting really far back, but I really wanted to show off how close I could get with that 90mm macro and do more of a beauty shot. So it got real close. I'm shooting really tight here. Brandy asked me for my phone so she can photograph some stuff for TikTok. But we're going to, I'm going to get her here, want to put her face close to that window, get super close. Hand placement's important, especially when you're getting close to the face. You don't want her to put her hand too close to her face or pressing on her face at all. You want really soft touches. You also don't want to see the palm or the back of her hand. You just want to shoot kind of the side of her hand. Here I move her, move the stool this way so she could sit on the back and kind of bring her leg up. Because I'm shooting so tight, I want just kind of more of her in the frame, even in a tighter frame. So I have that knee up there that gets her hands up close to her face without them being on her face. Really kind of loving some of the shots that we're getting. This is where I really kind of get into it. I actually turned her face really towards the window. I was getting reflection of the cars that were driving by in her glasses, which was giving me a really cool effect that I loved as I was watching the raw images come in. So Just going to take a few more final images, making sure I get the crop that I want. When you're shooting this close, it's easy to crop in too tight, so you can always crop in, but you can't crop out. So checking the final images. Why don't you guys take a look and let me know what you think.
Alright, so we had the stool, the backdrop, the natural light, and the 90mm macro. At first I was pulled super far back, but then I wanted to use the macro to my advantage, so I got super close, got a really tight, nice beauty crop, and used the stool to get her leg up closer to her so that I can get kind of a, more arms and legs and stuff inside of that tight beauty portrait. And let me know what you guys think. Would you have done it the same way? Let me know.